When you think of France, what comes to mind? Maybe the Eiffel Tower, charming Parisian streets, delicious croissants, or fields of lavender in Provence. It's a picture of romance and beauty. But there's another, much harsher reality that often goes unseen. Did you know that France is facing a significant and rapidly growing homelessness crisis? It's a topic that deserves our attention, so let's take a closer look at what's really happening on the streets of one of the world's most visited countries. It might be shocking to learn, but recent estimates from 2024 suggest there are around 350,000 homeless individuals across France. To put that in perspective, that number has more than doubled in just over a decade, since 2012. In fact, after the United Kingdom, France has the second highest rate of homelessness in all of Europe. This isn't a small, isolated issue. It's a nationwide problem affecting hundreds of thousands of lives. Let's break down those numbers. The Abbé Pierre Foundation, a major French charity, estimated there were about 330,000 homeless people back in 2022. Fast forward to 2024. So, who are the people experiencing homelessness in France? The demographics paint a complex picture. About 60% are men, which is a common trend in many countries. However, a significant detail is that over half, 55%, to be exact, were born outside of France. This points to the immense challenges faced by migrants and refugees in finding stable housing and integrating into society. The issue is particularly concentrated in certain areas. The Greater Paris region, known as Île-de-France, is the epicenter of this crisis. A staggering 44% of all homeless people in the country are located in and around the capital. So while tourists are admiring the Louvre, thousands are struggling to find a safe place to rest just a few streets away. Living conditions for these individuals vary, but none of them are easy. Around 185,000 people are housed in emergency shelters. These shelters are often overcrowded and are only a temporary fix. They provide a roof for the night, but people often have to leave in the morning, with no guarantee of a spot the next evening. Many others don't even have access to shelters. They are forced to live in makeshift slums, sleep on the streets, or find refuge in their cars, in tents under bridges, or in public parks. These conditions are not just uncomfortable. They are dangerous, exposing people to health risks, violence, and the harsh elements, especially during the cold winter months. So, what's causing this dramatic rise in homelessness? The primary driver is a severe shortage of affordable housing. Across France, and especially in major cities like Paris, property prices and rents have skyrocketed. It's become incredibly difficult for low-income individuals and families to find a place they can afford. At the same time, there have been cuts to public housing spending, which means there are fewer social housing units available for those in need. When the cost of living goes up and the safety net of affordable housing shrinks, more and more people are pushed to the brink and end up on the streets. It's a perfect storm of economic pressures. In response to this growing crisis, the French government has not been sitting idle. They've introduced a national 5-year plan based on the Housing First model. This approach is gaining popularity worldwide, and the core idea is simple but powerful. Instead of requiring people to meet certain conditions before getting housing, you move them directly from the streets or shelters into permanent, independent housing. The belief is that having a stable home is the first and most crucial step toward rebuilding a life. Once housed, individuals can more easily address other issues like employment, health, or addiction with the support of social services. However, while the Housing First plan sounds promising on paper, its implementation has faced serious challenges. Charities on the front lines argue that the rollout has been uneven across different regions, and most importantly, the scale of the program is simply not enough to meet the rapidly increasing demand. There are far more people becoming homeless than there are housing solutions being created. The system is overwhelmed. For those in immediate need, there is an emergency number, 115. This line is operated by SAMU Social, an organization that provides assistance, directs people to available shelters, and offers support. But even they are struggling to keep up. Reports often show that the line is constantly busy, and there simply aren't enough shelter beds for everyone who calls seeking help. The situation is a stark reminder that behind the romanticized image of France lies a complex social issue. The sight of tents pitched along the Seine or families sleeping in metro stations is becoming more common, a visible symbol of a system under strain. Organizations like the Abbé Pierre Foundation and SAMU Social are doing incredible work, providing food, shelter, and support, but they cannot solve this crisis alone. They are calling for more investment in social housing, stronger rent controls, and a more robust implementation of the Housing First strategy. They argue that housing should be treated as a fundamental human right, not a commodity. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of this problem, but awareness is the first step toward change. When we travel, when we read the news, it's important to look beyond the headlines and postcards to understand the realities people are facing. The story of homelessness in France is a story of economic struggle, systemic challenges, and human resilience. It challenges our perceptions and calls for a more compassionate and effective response, not just from the government, but from society as a whole. Thank you for watching and taking the time to learn about this important issue. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more deep dives into topics that matter. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.